I said it like that because I used to say Catan, and this girl got really snooty with me, and she's like, "It's Catan," and I was like,
I've
"Okay, it's Catan. I still am gonna beat your butt at this game."
I'm J.R. Phillips. I'm the one that won't shut up, and yeah, you can't make me, okay?
And I'm Nico Harlekenden. I'm the one who took notes, lit them on fire, and then started a completely separate new project instead.
And welcome to BAM! Now you know everything!
Okay, the Kazemi was today. So maybe there's just like a Mercury retrograde, maybe there's like a preloading phase, a moment of aha, and then some fuckery. I know that we have fuckery for 4 to 7 days after today. After it happens.
I've already done my fuckery, Nico. I want to be out of the fuckery.
I know. Me too.
I also just want everything to be built, okay? I want, I feel
I'm
like...
sick of it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm at the point, and I know we go through like cycles of this, but I'm like at the point where I'm just like, ugh, I know I'm gonna get a high again, okay? I know I'm gonna have, it will be good again, but my mentality is like, come on.
I don't like having to be positive about it when I'm really fussy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to focus on it will be better. I want to just be like, this sucks.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just like, it's hard in general to know if you're like doing it correctly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're doing something. Other people aren't doing it.
Look how tired and sick we are, though.
Yeah, so everybody listening, you get to have this lovely voice of mine, whatever, I said. It's fine. It's fine. Let me get water. All right. So we're talking that we're going to start recording every week because we just need to like keep up with everything. And I feel like we get all these ideas and then we write it on the notes app or, whatever, like mark it, tab it. But it's just it's not the same as talking to you,
I know. I feel like we miss out on things. I feel like I selfishly miss out on things if we go for 2 weeks. Like there's just so much happening.
Yeah. And then there's stuff in the moment. And then we've been voice noting each other, voice memoing each other because we're good with technology. Okay. We've been doing that, but the voice notes disappear.
I do hate that. I hate that you have to hit keep to keep them.
Yeah, and then I don't want to keep them. Like, I'm sure there's a setting that's probably like keep all your voice notes, but I don't want to keep them all. They're not all gold. I don't want to sift through it.
Comic gold.
Yeah, or just me going, ha ha ha.
You did cackle at me today, just now, on a voice note.
It's just funny because, okay. Which knee did you hurt?
My right one, my meniscus.
Okay, my right knee. Now I hurt mine, and I'm not sure if I hurt it permanently or not.
What?
I was ice skating. Remember that day?
Oh no!
Yeah. So we were like, and I had a backpack on, and it had like our phones in it, and I didn't want to fall on my butt, which has a surplus amount of cushion. Right? If I had fallen on my ass, I would have been fine. I just had a bruise. No, I pivoted and landed right on my right knee. And it still a little upset at me, to be honest.
Yeah. Jammed it up.
Yeah.
Did you hear it pop?
I don't know. See, the reason I fell is because of screaming children. And I'm used to swiveling like this. And if you're listening on the pod, I just look like an idiot right now. But there's like an 11-year-old trying to like, when you were in middle school, going to the ice skating rink was like a date,
Never been.
You never been to an ice skating rink?
I know, from Maine and never been.
I know. I'm shocked because like I'm in Florida and there's ice skating rinks where there probably shouldn't be. But when I was in Maryland, it was like a passage of, a rite of passage. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't think of those first words. But you took like your first boyfriend, first girlfriend, you took them there. Parents didn't really have to watch you because chaperones were included because they have to make sure the ice is safe. Anyway, these peacocking 13-year-old boys are just like, look at me, I'm skating. And then they're trying to like show off for like the preteen teenager girlfriends that they hope are theirs. And they just whip. And I'm skating pretty fast. Like, I'm not like ancient. I'm like going. And
You're hauling ass, as they say.
I whip my head though. And then I fall because I lost balance. My inner ear, betrayed. and then my knee paid the price.
Ear crystals.
Ear crystals.
Do you know in the labyrinth of your ear, there are crystals, allegedly, that keep you balanced or whatever? Am I making this up? I don't think I am making this up.
I mean, I've never heard of inner ear crystals. I do know the water in your inner ear is like your balance.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah, because I like the idea that there's crystals.
Shiny little crystals. It brings a whole new meaning to like charging your crystals by the moon.
Yeah.
Okay, ear crystals, also known as otoconia or canaliths. Oh, canal liths. Stone lith.
Yeah.
From the ear canal. Cute.
Okay. Cute.
Are tiny calcium carbonate particles found in the inner ear. They play a crucial role in balance and are found in the utricle and saccule, as well as the semicircular canals. When these crystals dislodge, they can lead to a condition called benign paroxysmal positional vertigo, BPPV, causing a sensation of spinning or dizziness triggered by specific head movement.
Well, I wonder if like people that are susceptible to getting like dizzy or motion sick have like weird crystals. Like their crystals are just like loosey-goosey. I don't know.
Like Yahtzee. Were we talking about Yahtzee the other day?
Were we?
If we were, I brought it up. And
Were you playing Yahtzee?
no, I made like some kind of analogy. Like doing this is like Yahtzee. You shake them up and...
Because I love your impersonation of yourself. Is like, I'm doing this, shaking up the Yahtzee. Because that's my voice that when I'm talking about anybody, like...
Yes!
It could be anybody, small or large. They're talking like this.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's me. I'm with them.
Anyway, we don't have to talk about it if you don't remember. I don't remember you talking to me about Yahtzee, so.
Me either. I don't talk to anybody else. So I don't...
Honestly, I really don't talk to anybody else unless it's pertaining to us. That's how our lives are now, though. Like,
I know.
And it's fine. I'm having a good time, so whatever.
It was like briefly like it's fine.
Yeah. Oh, this is that Mercury thing again, though. The disconnect.
Yeah, I can't trust my mind. Can't trust it.
No. Okay.
Plus my Mercury retrograde, so I'm already at a disadvantage.
But maybe this means it's like Uno reverse, and now it will be okay.
Draw 3.
I played a different version of Uno. Over the weekend. And it was actually really fun. It was Team Uno. So like
cool.
You and I would have different hands, right? But we would play off of each other. We couldn't win until we both went out. But it was like actually pretty fun. It revitalized the youth inside of me that was really cutthroat at Uno. Like,
okay.
I feel like that was like a generation thing. Like,
yeah.
like Uno Attack. And like basic Uno, of course. And
Only ever played basic Uno, but it was very competitive. I grew up watching my parents play with their friends. And
yeah.
sometimes I'd be allowed. There was a lot of slapping sounds of the cards being,
Take that!
that's right, draw 5 or whatever.
Everybody has their own version, too, of, like, the rules.
Yeah, house rules. It's always a mess.
Yeah. Like, well, you can stack draw twos. Like, I remember somebody's like, you stack them. So, like, if I had a draw 2, I don't have to draw now because I stacked it on yours. So now the next person, you got to draw 4. Well, guess what? I'm stacking
Ooh.
this. So now the next person got to draw 6. And
Gotcha.
I hated that rule, honestly.
Shit rolls downhill in real life. Why do we want it to happen in a game?
Yeah, you're supposed to pause and draw your 2. So I get the satisfaction that my play was strategic and worth something,
Yeah.
you know?
Vengeance.
Yeah. Give me my due, okay?
Intended targets. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Are you
I
very
want a
competitive
huge
at, like, board games and stuff?
I used to be. I haven't played board games in years.
Oh, my God.
Like literal years. Like just nobody to play with. My partner doesn't like to play any games. Video games only. So yeah, I used to really be competitive in games.
I love board games. I think that
Really?
was like a prerequisite to be close to me was you also had to play board games.
Yeah.
But my partner doesn't really partake outside like that's not true. Like Racco, we'll play like different games, but not like strategic, like strategy board games like Risk or Catan or, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
I said it like that because I used to say Catan and this girl got really snooty with me and she's like, it's Catan. And I was like, okay, it's Catan. I still am going to beat your butt at this game.
Any game about resources. I don't like them.
It depends on the game because sometimes I'm really not into that. I like collaborative games because I'm so
Yeah.
competitive. I
Team.
will lose friends. Okay. I will lose friends. I think my friend and I have argued over Munchkin like
Oh my God.
1,000 times because we just can't like let things go.
Nice. Very nice.
But there was this game Zombicide and I loved it. And
Ooh,
it was a
sounds-
collaborative horror game and I like loved that game.
Cranium was a fan favorite way back in the day, back when I was in the game circuit.
Did you play Quell?
No.
It's very similar to Cranium, so I think you'd like it.
Okay.
Except it's a little more embarrassing, I think.
That does look cool.
Yeah.
Entertaining for big groups, endless hours of laughter and deep belly laughs.
Yeah, you get those bellies. You get those belly laughs going.
Were you, okay, back in the days of Cranium or Quelth or whatever, if they did the same thing, when you hit the art part of the brain, the art category, which was your go-to? Senso sketch, which was where you closed your eyes and had to draw, sculpting with the clay, the little Play-Doh, or there must have been a regular drawing one too, where you were looking or something like that.
Oh, okay. So I definitely was equally bad at all of those. I did like the clay the most because it was the most forgiving in my household because we're not sculptors, you know? But like
equal playing field.
Yeah. And my mom will say she's not an artist. She can draw. Okay. My dad and I are pretty much on the same level of like during a game, we're like going fast and it's barely legible. But we're having fun, you know?
Your Scribble.io online yesterday was really good.
Oh, I mean, it was very juvenile, but it was fun.
I guessed them.
Yeah, no, that was a fun game. Actually, my partner came in and he came in to look at it, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, I'm gonna go. because he was like, what is this? And I was like, well, actually, Nico and I are playing this game right now. So
Oh my God, I just realized he thought you were just drawing online.
I guess I should have premised that. He came in and he thought I was just on paint making stick
And
figures.
it's so, for those of you that don't know, Scribble.io is so colorful, and it does look like there's
Wait, hold on.
drawings.
Not to go on like a little segue, but there's roofers.
Oh,
right?
please.
There's roof. I did not make my dog bark so I could tell the story.
Planned.
There's been roofers in my neighborhood for the past week. And so there's a lot of strangers, so she's a little on edge, a lot of banging, so she's a little bit uncomfortable. But as I was getting ready for this pod, my partner was leaving to go for his shift work. So I'm left alone, and in my head, I'm like, if someone's clocking, they know I'm home alone.
This is the time.
And I'm going to be recording. So I immediately was like, what would I react to, like, murder? I would be like, hey, excuse me, we're in the middle of something, actually. If you could
Can
wait.
you wait? Yeah.
Or, yeah, this is live right now. You might as well just kill yourself. Okay, not me, because everybody knows you and sees your face. I'm just,
Yeah, immediately point the camera.
This guy is trying to murder me. Can you believe it? And I was just laughing.
Avenge my death!
And I was just laughing, and I was like, man, I'd be the worst victim. I would be like...
I think that's a really good idea. Turn it around and just be like, my 20,000 followers are looking at you.
Manifesting. If I didn't have them before, I'll definitely have them now. So.
Thanks, Kazemi.
Anyway, back to what is it? Scribble.io. Scribble.io. I almost said
You were drawing on MS Paint.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. I picked Roadkill and Nosebleed on purpose because I
nailed it.
I felt like those were easier. When I originally picked Ireland, I don't know what logic I was thinking, but I was like, oh, I'm going to pick Ireland and Nico's going to have to draw Ireland. And then, but then I was like, but then I could guess it. And I just didn't understand the game correctly.
Yeah,
obviously.
Totally. It was just a test run.
Yeah, it was fine.
I was just glad you came and then also drew with me. Bonus.
Did you post it?
I didn't because I was alone for like 20 minutes.
I want to see it, though.
I'll send it to you if you want, for sure. For sure.
I want to just...
I wasn't that bad.
Yeah. I just want...
With my five people on my live.
Yeah, you did a great job. It was fine. I'm sure it was
Thank
fine.
you.
But I also want to see you there politely nudging. This game is actually pretty fun.
I flat out said, I think you guys are just afraid of me. Afraid of my skills or something like that.
They probably were.
I had Earl. He's a retired gentleman. He was talking to me for a while I was setting up shop and kind of explaining it to him. What I did realize, because I watched back the first half, because I was so self-critical and I was also very curious. And so I watched it back and I was like, hey, I didn't do too bad. And the thing about lives is that if you read out things and just kind of react in a certain way, it makes it sound like you had way more people on your life than you actually did.
Yeah, and it also says, thank you so-and-so and so-and-so and many more.
I know.
And that makes me happy because I'm like, oh, yes, that's true.
So many. So many. I'm wondering if that's a bad idea to do that because of that one occurrence. I was on a live, you were in the chat supporting, I think it was with Sam, and then the troll was there. And then Sam cross-posted and it automatically linked and tagged the troll. And then that's what prompted the troll to come and be a little dink.
Well, I don't hold it against Sam for deleting that thread, but I really wish it was there for posterity. You know, that I owned that guy.
Yeah.
I owned that guy. I'm not a performer in the sense that I could ever rap a poem or slam poet. In my head, I think I could do, but in front of people? No, never. But I can write a poem. I can write a mean dissing poem,
anything.
So I was excited. I was like, oh, if we're gonna do this, how many male feelings can I hurt?
That's what I was also gonna say. Ain't it like a man to stick up for another fucking man, even if they're in the wrong?
Right. It's like, and I get it. It's like,
no matter how woke someone is, there they are sticking together.
The boys club at it again.
Exactly. We kid, we joke, but it's funny.
Hold on, I gotta mute.
She lives.
All right.
She lives. But good segue. Have you seen this Wizard Liz thing?
I was gonna bring it up. Okay. I hope that she sticks to her guns and like not stick to her guns, but stick to like her belief system, because that is what I feel like is the core transitional piece for future generations of, women who are not going to be okay with being cheated on and having boundaries and setting them. And not just women, people in general. You should have your boundaries. They should be stated clearly. And it's your job to hold people to that, though. You can have all the boundaries in the world and be upset that people aren't sticking to it. But if you're not enforcing them, that's a core issue too. So I hope that like everything she said and calling him out and everything has been really great, publicly and stuff. But yeah,
I only saw like what happened, some sleuthing, the girls going crazy all over the internet. I don't know who Wizard Liz is in context before this, but she seems to mean a lot to a lot of people.
I didn't really know her before this either. Okay. So I went down a hole and I saw, she was definitely a proponent of having strong boundaries, valuing yourself, not letting yourself be twisted all around and made to feel like you have to coddle somebody or allow somebody to treat you a certain way,
Yeah.
She's pregnant.
Yeah.
And that's
4 months. That was a big. I also listen. The guy's trash.
Right.
Plenty of people are trash too. I am guessing, you correct me if I'm wrong, is it like a younger group of folks, ladies, whomever that is in her audience? Because they all seemed so deeply wounded, like the guy did it on purpose, when I just think the guy's an asshat like most people. You know what I mean? Like most people just are not great.
Yeah, I see where you're going with this, because I saw the sleuthing as well, where they thought that he stalked her.
And then planned it to 4 months exactly so that nothing could be done.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's not that smart, probably. The odds are against him being that smart, but I do not know. I truly don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But I have said it before. I like monsters in human form, whether they're users or, whatever.
Oblivious.
Yeah. Whether they're like that on purpose or not.
Yeah, I can. Were you going to ask me if I can hear that? I can.
Okay.
I don't mind it. I think it's charming, but it might bother you.
I think it's just going to bother other people, too, that are listening.
Okay.
So, no, Arwen, not right now.
Do you have a crinkly toy? Does she like those?
She normally doesn't even know how to squeak a toy. She's normally just she knows how to squeak a toy, but she's normally not a squeaker. She normally only squeaks when she wants to bond. And she wants to bond right now because she got scared of that dog outside.
Exactly.
So now she's like, what the fuck did you do with my toy, mother? Anyway, I've said it before. Human. You've been blessed. humans that are monsters, it's the nature versus nurture thing, right? Like, do you believe that somebody who's a stalker or an abuser is sitting at home meticulously planning out their abuse and stalking? Or is it something that is wrong, integral to like their brain, right? Where they can't control it, they don't know what they're doing until it's too late, and then they feel that remorse. Like the human mind is so complicated.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to think he stalked her in the airport, waited to cheat. I think he was just probably cheating the whole time.
Yeah.
Or attempting to. The minute
I agree, though.
the minute a man uglier than the woman that they're with, because I'm sorry, but
He was.
Yeah, she is who she is for a reason. They get this thing in their head that's like, oh, I can get anybody because I got her. And this is where that whole nice guy thing and this whole thing, it's like,
Wife guys, too, whose identity is only, like, about their wife. And they're so vocal about it.
yeah, it's
like compensating.
Yeah, it's just like, why is this your defining attribute? And you're just making it all about this superficial thing.
Yeah.
And then you throw in our faces, oh, well, it fades. All right, your value, your thing, it fades. So don't get too comfy. And it's like, yeah, we know everybody gets old and wrinkly. Well, that's why we keep asking you to be nicer, kinder, and better in general. So, sorry. I don't know.
Yeah, your looks too. So, chop chop, get it together. Create a better reason for someone to want to be with you.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think this like red pill thing went so viral and rapid of like women's body counts and they're devaluing as they get older and all this stuff. And then they try to lump us in and say, well, you want the top 10% of man because you want somebody empathetic and good and morally, upstanding. So you need to settle for the shit bag, you stupid, because you're going to get ugly one day.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
I think that's an Andrew Tate quote.
Yeah. Direct. Allegedly. Just kidding. Allegedly.
Whatever. He's being prosecuted right now. So him and his brother.
But
no, then we need to talk about those losers.
No.
I just thought it was so interesting. And I was trying to wrap my head around it because I hadn't heard of her. And I do agree, like, yeah, lady, stick to those guns.
Yeah, like.
Kick him in the dick. I'm going to have to bleep that out, but.
But, it's kind of just, I hope that she sticks with it. Because in the past, when I was cheated on in previous relationships when I was younger, I didn't leave right away. Because, and I don't think they do it on purpose to manipulate you, to use you to get like a power. I don't think it's that well thought out.
No, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. But I do think they have tools at their disposal, like all humans, to be like, feel sorry for me. I didn't mean to cheat on you, okay? I just have,
Nobody
needs.
wants to be the bad guy.
Right.
And the people that do that, we're told by stories in society and our mores that people who do that are bad guys, but I can't be a bad guy. I think you even said that on one of our episodes before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, the human mind is vast and dark and complicated. But in the end, if you want to be a good person, we have societal norms for fidelity. And we're taught that from a very young age, even if you're cheating at a board game, to bring it back to board games. If you're caught not being trustworthy in your society, you're shunned for good reason. Because how can I trust to build resources with you? You know, like, how can I do something? There's no trust. So when that society stops holding people accountable, that's when things start getting nuts so bananas.
Did you hear about this Coast Guard? This woman who drove from Virginia to Ohio, who lured her accused into the woods and killed him, and then went and got a tattoo.
I do not promote murder. Okay, I do not. But I've said it before, and I'll say it till I die. Murder is sometimes justifiable. It is the one law and crime that I believe, and there could be others, that there are circumstances beyond which you can control. And if you've never been assaulted, you don't know what it's like to live with that fear, shame, horror over and over that seeps into your new relationships. It seeps, it poisons. So am I saying vigilante justice is what you should do? No. Do I believe that the law caters to victims? No. So there is a point where you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. I have not heard the story.
Yeah. She was in the Coast Guard. He was never prosecuted originally when she tried to press charges.
What?
This is why she felt like she needed to.
I just want to know. I want somebody from the justice system to explain to me why they don't do something. What makes one situation more than like viable to prosecute than another?
Yeah.
You know, like
Penises. I'll bleep that out too.
Penises.
Caw.
The dongle.
It'll just be a squeaky toy.
I love it. No, but seriously, I don't understand. And the same thing is what is for when children are involved too, in a lot of cases. And if you listen to any true crime, which I think is why women enjoy true crime, is you learn about all these cases that just fall through the cracks, never get solved, or you see repeat offenders end up becoming serial killers or, you know.
Yeah. How about all of those rape kits that are unprocessed?
Yeah.
They're just sitting in precincts across America because there's a backlog and there just is not enough resources to test them all.
Because they just don't. Sexual related violence isn't taken seriously. That holds nothing, because to some men, release is easier for them. They feel way better after. It's always a good thing in some of their minds, except for men that have been victimized. And when men have been victimized, then they're like, oh my gosh, like, then they kind of understand it, which sucks, because you should understand it without, like, I know plenty of women that have not experienced sexual violence that are empathetic automatically, because it's a fear we all have in daily lives. As dystopian as that fucking sounds. Yeah. Oh, I did not know.
I didn't mean to drag us down this fucking alley, but
hey, it's an alley, whatever. I like alleys, but I also like alleys where there's vigilante justice. That might be a thing in my brain, but when there's a vigilante, Batman, hello, who doesn't love Batman? Okay?
No.
And Batman unalived people in the comics, so and that's probably the best Batman. So
I love that.
Speaking of a TikTok with a similar theme, flawed villain. I'm going to shout out. I remembered her username. There are some things I don't agree with of what she says, because it can come off not inclusive to all people that feel that, like, what's that word I'm looking for?
I don't know who flawed villain is. Give me a second and I'll look it up.
That
Is that the username?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She
Here she is.
sometimes comes off a little transphobic with
Yeah.
believing that like only true women understand the plight of womanhood, which I can understand to a certain extent, but trans people are also like so villainized and have a whole other slew of prejudices that they go and they deal with. So to exclude one section of a community that deals with similar things is just like, oh. But she has other valid things that she says. So it's tricky for me. I'm still feeling her out.
Take me there. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I just see sometimes with comments and then she responds to them. But she talks about how the objectification of women has been around forever, which we know, especially when it comes to film. And it's very eye-opening when you think about how a film is created, perspective of a camera. And we don't even realize it when you're watching unless you're a film critic, right? The average person watching a movie is not thinking, well, that lighting is like that because it represents this, and this camera is over here because it's representing this. But when the camera is representing always looking at a woman full body from the downward angle, and she was talking about the lady of the lake and how it's like an old movie, classic movie, and literally it's filmed just as if this woman is an object the whole time. And it was kind of eye-opening for me because sometimes I'm there for the vibes. Okay, so I'm not really knowing when I'm noticing something. And
For sure.
sometimes it's kind of nice to be reminded like all art is trying to go to a deeper level, and you need to take care of your art and make sure when you're writing, when you're drawing, when you're filming, that you are noticing what you're setting up for and you're not just trying to use a woman that's beautiful and curvaceous to sell a movie or to look timid or subservient or, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just an interesting take.
Do you know the Bechdel test?
Yep.
B-E is like spelled weird. B-E-C-H, Beck, D-E-L. The Bechdel test is in cinema, and she could be like books and everything like that too. And it is simply a test. It does not cast aspersions. It does not say if a piece of media passes the Bechdel test, it is good, and if it does not pass the Bechdel test, it is bad. It is simply a marker of like, hey, just consider what this means. The Bechdel test itself is, I hope I get this right. We can check it after. Let's test my memory.
Yeah.
The Bechdel test is there more than one woman in a piece of media? Yes. Okay, proceed. Do they have interactions with each other outside of the context of men? That is not a conversation about men.
Oh.
And so it's not, it's like there are plenty of classics. There's plenty of good art, and, good art. What is good art is subjective, but there are plenty of things that don't pass the Bechdel test. And just because it does pass the Bechdel test doesn't mean that it's good either, but it does make people think.
Yeah.
And so I take comments, you have to be a little divisive on TikTok, right? Because you want to get that reach and you want to get that algorithm and you want to get those likes and what have you. But I've been of the mind that when people bring up points like this, it's really great to consider them, but it doesn't automatically make something bad if it's not perfect.
Right. Like, it's complex. It goes back to be like a complex thing, right? Like opinions, you might have a very strong opinion on something that's easily swayed in a different light. Like that's what art does. It's supposed to challenge what you view, and maybe it shifts a little after viewing it. But it goes back to decentering, men from things.
Yes. Janet.
God, oh, don't remind me. Nico recently traumatized me, everybody. She had me watch The Greasy Strangler. Actually, she didn't tell me to watch The Greasy Strangler, but she did bring it up, and it made me feel like I was missing out on something, like a cult classic. And how it slipped through my little fingers, like how could I let that happen? So I watched this movie, and it was interesting and disgusting. I don't recommend watching it.
Hard stop.
But if you like horror movies, if you're not squeamish, you don't mind seeing old guys naked. That's a big thing. Like, I wish that I would have known how naked the movie was. But it
Noted.
was.
I'm not going to recommend any John Waters movies to you.
At times. It depends on how they're naked. This guy's nudity was extra because he had that prosthetic, very alien-like, and not in the hot way. Okay.
And covered in grease. Chunky, snotty grease.
Oh.
Say no more. All right. Well, there is your anti-recommendation. Do not go watch The Greasy Strangler.
It was a very pretty, colorful movie. And if you made The Greasy Strangler, I'm very sorry. I don't like hating on anything.
Oh my God.
But I am grossed out. So.
Oh, dude. This podcast is airing Tuesday, and we will be one day we will have finished our writing challenge. Do we want to mention that briefly, like a couple minutes?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's go in.
So, what is it? It's a writing challenge. We brashly thought that it would be a good idea to have a writing challenge on a holiday week. We've been running
on fumes.
Straight out. Yeah, just absolute fools. So we started Monday of the holiday. And the goal was to write 10,000 words by the end of the week because our friends and acquaintances from social media successfully completed 10,000 words almost every day for a week. So we thought,
what do they do though? I need to know these people's lives because I am serious. I had off on Monday.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. Because I'm so burnt out from doing stuff in general. So, more power to them. I'm a little bit jelly because I feel like
they're great. Yeah.
Like their vibe is great, like very relaxed, welcoming, positive. That's not me.
Yeah. We'll tag them in this. I think they have a joint YouTube channel. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'll give them a little shout out.
Nico just broadens my horizons. She tells me to watch The Greasy Strangler, which shows me.
These people are way nicer than The Greasy Strangler. I actually recommend these folks. They're really good. They're fellow authors too.
Yeah.
But anyway, our progress throughout this week has been slow at best.
Yeah. It's crazy because I think like me shifting even threatening to shift my focus from my original manuscript made it louder in my head. Like, how could you? And then like my characters, like my main character is Jade. And I feel like she's like, when are you going to get back to me? Hello, I'm sitting here in the loony bin. Get me out of here. But slow and steady. I think tomorrow will be a good day for me. Hopefully in my journal, like at least handwriting some stuff down. Typing feels a lot of pressure to me sometimes.
Interesting. Did not.
Yeah. Computers, typing it down, it makes it feel like it's easier to delete. And sometimes I'll just delete things too much. And then I wish that I had it for a reference instead.
Yeah. It will save it in your version history if you remember to like not delete until the next time you sit down. That way it saves. It has a little pause and it saves it for you.
I know, but I'm impulsive and I just am like, Get out of here.
Jess is banking on hitting that 10K this weekend. I don't know if I even will. I will try. I really have to finish the manuscript for Forbidden Fruit. I had to wrangle a couple cats. There were a couple outstanding pieces. So I need to finalize the page count, and then we can get the design right-sized for the special edition cover.
Ooh.
So it's really important to get that done this weekend so we can have one for a sample.
Yeah, that would be good. And that's what makes it tough too, because you're putting together an anthology, working with other authors, interviewing them. Like you've had like interviews going.
Yeah.
You're 9 to 5, and also you wrote a ton just last weekend.
Yeah. And then I was like, guess I'll never write again. I retired.
No. You'll be back in it. You just the Mercury thing, okay? You know, you burned out a little bit, and that's okay.
For sure.
We are both burning candles, you know, two ends.
Yeah.
You know, and it's fine. We are fine, and we're gonna
really
thrive. Okay. I just think we pivoted so much with our careers because we want these careers to be a thing, you know? And I was just looking at the bookshelf the other day.
Yours or?
No, just like a random bookshelf at school.
Oh.
We have like a teacher book swap. And there's actually some pretty cool ones in there. At first I was kind of like, well, what are these teachers reading? But then I looked at them and I was like, oh, these are cool. I only recognized like 2 authors on the shelf.
Very cool.
So like when you think about it, there's only ever like a certain amount of like big names out there that's outside of the writing community too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that's our goal. I mean, I'm not saying it's not. But I'm also just saying like it helps put things into perspective, you know? And they're all ancient, all the ones I know.
Teachers or the books? Oh.
Both. I'm ancient. You know, like
yeah.
You got time. I love how I start off doomy and gloomy, and then I just always end up back like, we got time.
It's insufferable, but I love it. I do want to say one thing. I want to plug volume 2 of The Curious Post. Submissions open. By the time this drops on Tuesday, submissions will be open. So anyone, if you know writers or if you are a writer, check out the post for details. It'll be linked down below. The theme for this one is not forbidden. We've progressed to thresholds and liminality. So we're looking for short stories and flash fiction. So if you want to be part of something really, really weird with puzzles and things to solve and weird through lines and malarkey, join us.
Yes.
It's free to submit and you'll be paid.
Mm-hmm. Magic words to the struggling
Maybe I should have led
with
with that. Yeah.
Now, come on, where's the byline? You know.
Yeah.
No, that's so exciting.
But what about you? Anything you want to plug?
Oh,
America's healthcare system
at its finest. Let's see. I met with an author, Tori Dominique, and it was our first time talking, and like outside of text, you know. And so it was like this, and the vibes were so cool, and so I'm really looking forward to her poems. But that fantasy collection is coming up pretty fast. Some artists are working on the cover art now, and I have to really start putting together all of my stories for each author into one cohesive campaign-like situation. So I can put that in there. But I'm really excited. I'm really nervous, but I'm also really excited.
It's going to be fantastic.
I think it will. I fantastic fantasy.
I'm so good.
But exactly. I think so too. Fantastical. All right. This has been Bam. Now you know everything. I'm going to go scrub my lungs with a pipe cleaner. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.